Hi, and welcome to episode number 12. Well, I think it's episode number 12 of Are You Willing? Um, so, why did I choose this topic? I chose this topic. It's so weird. It's really interesting to do the Facebook Live from the because everything is kind of upside down. It's kind of flipped. So basically, why I chose this topic? I chose this topic because this is something I've been looking at myself in the last few weeks. Is A couple of weeks ago I was on a call with Crystal, and she was like asking, what would you like to get out of this class? And as a joke, I just said, well, $100 million. And she asked me, well, are you actually willing to be $100 million? And the response was kind of no, I'm not willing to be. So if I'm not willing to be that, how I'm actually gonna achieve that if I'm not willing to have that? And so this is something I've been playing with, not just with being willing to be $100 million, but being willing to do or be anything really. Like, are you willing to be wealthy, or are you willing to have a slim body? Are you willing to have bigger body? Are you willing to be in a relationship, or are you willing to be not in a relationship? And those are the things, like, we are not really, we kind of think we want them, and at the same time we actually not willing to be them. And it's almost like um, yeah, what does that, can't come up with an example at the moment, but I'm sure I'm gonna come up with something. So, and that's what I been kind of looking like, because how the universe works. Universe works when you ask for something, it just basically give it to you. But if you are just kinda asking, well, it's kinda giving you. It's actually not giving you that. And there was one question I posted in my business group was, are you willing to be that, or are you just pretending to be that? And if you are just pretending to be willing, then you are actually not willing, and you are actually not achieving it. I'm not really sure what is behind this kind of stupidity. Like, it's kind of like, why would you pretend to be willing if you actually, let's say, if you are, you want to have money because of all the reasons why you would like to have more money in your life. And so, why would you pretend that you are willing to want money or have money when in reality you are not willing to be that? And it's kind of like a mind boggling thing for me. It's like, what would be all the reasons why I would pretend? Oh, Jesus, there's a very big fly. I don't know, is it just coming out like it's getting really warm? So yeah, so why are you actually like um willing to pretend? Like, yeah, one of the reasons why people pretend something is because they actually, like, I used to have a friend who would rather have spend a lot of money on clothes, but she wouldn't spend money on the food. So she could live on noodles or pasta, which is like one of the cheapest foods you have, but she always would buy like really expensive clothes, so she would so people would think that she's wealthy. And the same time is like, why would, like, I kind of understand that from her point of view, because for me it was never really a point of view that, but okay, that's kind of side note. But yeah, why would you actually pretend to be willing to have something instead of just having it? And kind of my idea is that you actually don't believe you can have that. So you have to pretend. Hey, Tomasz, welcome. So yeah, you basically have to pretend to be something because you are secretly believing that you can't have that. Like a few years ago, when I was kind of still playing with access tools, I kind of started to play with this thing. Like I notice where I am like thinking, like it, how to say it in the words. It's almost, like for example, oh, it's good, Thomas, that it does ring a bell for you, because yeah, it's one of those things, like it's really weird things, like why would, and so basically what I used to do, let's say we all have like an idea how we look, and we or how we be, and then there is another side where we kind of imagine what other people think of us, and those two things don't match. Like there are things that we want other people to believe about us, and there are things that we believe about ourselves, and they don't match. They kind of clash. Like for example, I want people to think I'm wealthy when I don't think I'm wealthy. And so for me, it wasn't about the wealth, it was about something else. But I'm gonna use this as example. And so basically, what I noticed that I'm actually kind of going out and thinking of whether people are gonna think that I'm that, when in reality I believe I am not. And then I was thinking, no, I don't care what people, no, I don't want people to think I'm that. I want to be that. And it's kind of flipped that thing. Like I don't want people think I'm good at something. I actually want to be good at that. Because if I'm pretending that I'm good at something, that means I don't believe I'm good at that. So instead of actually worrying what people think about that in relation to that, I actually want to be that. Um, Another thing, what other example? I can't come, just can't come. When you have these as well delusional points of view about yourself, I think I kind of got off the topic about are you willing, but I'm gonna come back to that. And we all have these delusional points of view about ourselves, which the video looks weird, where delusional points of view about ourselves, like for example, when let's say when someone who let's say is uh, especially about the body image, that's kind of really kind of very popular delusion about body image. And some I'm gonna talk about women because I have no idea how it is for men. But for example, there are lots of women who think they are fat when in actuality they're not. And then there are those women who think they are really, like anorexic women. Like that's kind of extreme example. Because I had the same thing. I actually thought that I'm really extremely overweight when I'm actually not. And I kind of used to go with that, kind of live with that point of view. Like I think I'm over, like I'm I think I am too fat, and I don't want people to think I'm that, which is like really delusional. And the same and like women who has problems with body image, they are really really thin, and they actually think they're really fat. And these are all the kind of delusions, not just about the body weight, but as well about the money. We we think that we don't have money when actually we do have money, because um, I've heard many times over that even rich people think they're poor. It's just because it's their point of view. But how what it has to do with are you willing? So basically, this is where it comes to um, are you like yeah, we were talking about are you willing to be or are you pretending to be willing to be. So once you actually kind of get that you are just pretending to be willing to be something, you have a choice. You can either be choose to be that or you choose not to be that. Like for example, you have a choice whether you want what oh sorry, I'm just blubbing at the moment. Let me get my thought pattern back. Like for example, you are willing to be something, and to actually be that, you have to be willing to be that. And because universe it's like when you what you ask and you shall receive. It's not just about it's not just about it is not just about material things. It's not just about like money or I want a house like that, I want a husband like that, but it says as well ask and you shall receive about yourself. If there are certain things you are not willing to be, let's say last uh, this week I actually started to read a book by Judith Bauman about conscious leaders, and because that's something I wasn't willing to be. It's not like I wasn't willing to be. I thought that one day I just gonna be that. You know, I wake up in the morning and I'm conscious leader, or I wake up in the morning and I'm wealthy as don't know as God. I have more money than God. Or one day I'm gonna wake up and gonna be super confident. But it's actually not the case. You actually have to be asking for that. If you want to be conscious leader, you have to be asking for that. You, and especially if you are, if that, if you are actually asking to be that, that means actually you already are that. You are just not acknowledging it. Like for example, it's not that I'm not confident. It's that I'm not confident in all the areas of my life. There are places where I'm very confident, and there are places where I'm not really confident. But it doesn't mean that I'm not confident in general. It means just in some areas it's challenging for me. And one thing you can actually ask is, what would it take for me to be that? Like for example, I have one. I live in the middle of nowhere. There's like forests around me, and there are certain. And the nearest village to me is about 1.5 kilometers from me. And there is one lady who, in the past couple weeks, she's been coming more and more, and she's one of those people that rather see going than coming. And she's been like coming and asking me for money, asking me for wood because she needs wood to heat her house, or all other things. She's like someone who is not very conscious, and she doesn't really care about, she doesn't really know what the word means. And I'm really kind of getting fed up with her, and I'm one of those people who can't just tell her straight, just please don't come ever again. I don't like you. And so for me, every time she kind of comes to my door, I say, oh, bloody hell, it's her again. And I don't know how to kind of get rid of her, like very easily. And so basically, every time is like I have to leave a house because she just comes in and she wants to chat, she wants to get a cup of coffee. So I have to come up with an excuse and leave a house, like go to see my mom, go to town, or something like that. And today I was driving to my mother, and so I was getting on, and I was like asking myself, what do I have to actually be to keep her away from me? Or okay, good enough. So basically, yeah, what do I need to be to keep her away from me? Or what do I need to be to what's the it's not the right question. What do I need to what do I need to be to make her go away? And it's mean like I have to be willing to be something to, like, I don't know how that's gonna show up because I literally was asking that today. But I remember a few, because that is challenging for me, and I'm not, in the past I wasn't actually willing to be whatever it takes to, let's say, get rid of her, because because every time I go actually into projections and expectations what that's gonna be like, and it makes me uncomfortable. But when I'm actually asking what do I need to be, that what do I need to be, and am I willing to be that, it's actually kind of becomes really kind of, don't say it. I'm just gonna give you an example. A few months ago, I was actually I was asking for something, like what would it take for me to be a certain way. Like for example, I have lots of friends who I don't really want to call them friends, but for the sake of conversation. So I have friends who are not very, they really like trauma and drama, and they just, I have to listen over and over again about their stories and about their problems and crises and all that sort of thing. And I always kind of take it with, I just listen to it, kind of nod or agree with it or not agree with it, and that's it. And so I was actually never willing to actually tell them, like, oh, just you have different options. You don't have to be this way and stuff like that. Because for me, it was challenging to kind of challenge them. And so I actually asked, what would it be like to actually be that? Or who do I need to be, or what do I need to be something different here? And then a few weeks later, I actually got into the situation where I told one of my friends. And it actually was so easy. There was no this, when you go and ask someone out, it's very uncomfortable because you already prepare yourself that the person is gonna say no, and or the best case scenario is gonna say yes, and you're not gonna know what to do, and all these things. You kind of amp yourself up on, and you're so nervous and anxious that you actually don't do it. But when you actually like ask, what do I have to be to actually ask someone out with ease, joy, and glory, then it's actually gonna be so easy that you wouldn't even notice that you did it. The same way was for me when I asked, when I told one of these friends, we were talking again about her problems and stuff, and I told her, I can't remember exactly what I told her, but it wasn't something I was willing to choose before. But it was so easy and natural that only after conversation I realized that this is what I did. And this is actually what you could do with anything where you are uncomfortable or you're not willing to be something but you would like to be. Instead of actually going, you know, like uh, there are there are coaches like personal development coaches who actually tells you if you want to get comfortable with some situations, you actually go out and basically put yourself in these situations and do the things that makes you uncomfortable. It's like asking someone out, asking someone for money. What else could be telling people, asking for help, and these things. You basically, it's almost like the exercises. You go out and get as many no's as you can until you become comfortable with it. But what if instead you actually ask, who do I need to be to have ease and joy and glory with this? Or, like in my situation with this lady, who do I need to be to make her go away? And that does mean like I go into now in different scenarios what I'm gonna say or what I will have to say. But it's mean that at some point when she's actually gonna come to my door, it's not gonna be maybe next time when she comes, maybe the two more times, but the whatever I need to say is gonna be really easy for me. And I know that. I know the universe is gonna deliver that. And and that's what I like how we can and the same is like what I mentioned at the beginning of the conversation that if like are you willing to be the money you are asking for, are you willing to actually be whatever it takes. uh, when I've kind of first started with access consciousness tools, there was a question, are you willing to do whatever it takes? And I wasn't willing to do whatever it takes because I had so many expectations and projections of and judgments about what that it means that I wasn't even willing to ask for it. And it's actually never like as you probably if you are kind in access, nothing ever shows up the way you think it is. Like all the projections, expectations, judgments are just the things that keeps you away. You basically keep yourself away from whatever you are not kind of willing to look at. It's like one of those situations where you, I don't know, I can't really explain that situation. It's in my head, but I don't know how to explain. It's basically you're just holding yourself back and keep that thing away with projection and expectations because you already decided what it's gonna look like and that's scary for you. But it's actually a lie because it's never gonna be the way you expect it to be. So are you willing to be whatever it takes? Well, the next things I actually want to what I discovered yesterday about myself that there are so many things I'm not willing to be, but because now I know this, how I actually can go around this thing, I'm actually willing to at least look at these things. Like for example, for me, one of the things I'm not willing to do is I'm really good organizer. I can organize the shit out of everything. I can make Google Sheets, I can do graphs and sales funnels with everything. But one thing I'm not willing to be is organize my own finances. So this is something I wasn't even willing to look at because I already decided how it's gonna look like. And I didn't like that. So instead of actually uh, kind of still keep myself away from that, I'm actually willing to actually just look at it and clear all the projections, decisions, expectations, what I had about this thing. And that's really simple and easy. It's just our kind of feelings, and as you know, feelings are not really real. It's just something we just make real. And so I invite you as well, make a list of all the things that you are not willing to be, or things that you decided you should be, but probably don't have to be. And and probably as well it seems scary for now. Let's say, would you be willing to be a president of your own country? And when you actually think of that, you already in your head you come up with, oh, I would need to be that, I would need to be do this, I would need to go there, and you already kind of scaring yourself away from that, being that. It doesn't mean you have to be the president, but if you're willing to be that, you don't actually know what it's gonna create in your own life. And so this is what I am willing to kind of look at, all the things I'm not willing to be or do or go into. Because that question, are you willing to do whatever it takes, used to be really scary for me. And now I'm actually willing to look at it. And I'm willing to look at all my finances. And another thing I'm not willing to look at, all the things that how much money is coming in and how much money is coming out. And so yeah, that's for me would be next step, to make all these things, to basically put them down on the paper and go through them and do the either projection clearing or just basically see what's there. What is actually so scary that I'm not even willing to look at? And I'm inviting you as well to make this list, because you can actually you kind of already are that, what you are asking for. You're just not willing to acknowledge that you already have it, and you can actually increase that capacity, especially with money, with body, with relationship, what other areas there is, with your business, with your children, your family, just basically anything. Like, look at the things that you would like to create in your life. Let's say if your target for the monthly money is, let's say, $10,000, just write it on the paper and look at all the things. Are you willing to be that, or you already decided that it will be too much work to have that, or it's not going to be easy, or you're not going to know what to do? And it's basically this is your awareness. This is where universe tells you, okay, you are willing to have those $10,000 a month, and these are all the things why you are not having them yet. Like, you just basically look at all these things, like, okay, I'm not willing to work too hard. So if I was willing to work hard, what would that be like? It doesn't mean you will have to work too hard. You just have to be willing to work too hard. Or I'm not willing to go and talk to that person. Okay, so what would it be like if I was willing to talk to that person? Basically, universe is giving you like a nuggets to look at. It's not that it doesn't tell you, no, you shouldn't do that because of this. It gives you the information that because of this you can't have that, but if you remove that, you will have that. So that's kind of like a simplified way of looking at things, and I hope actually you found it helpful. If you did, just make it in the comments. I would like to know, because it's actually just saying out loud, it helped me as well to kind of look at these things. And because, like, if everything is possible in life, then it's probably possible for me too. I'm just not willing to be something to have that. And I just have to kind of find that things and clear them away. Or sometimes I don't even need to know that. Sometimes you just need to, like, Oh, thank you, Thomas. So yeah, basically, if you have to, oh, I lost trail of thought now. Yeah, because if you are, if it's possible for someone else to do it, it means it's possible for you too. You just haven't been willing to look at. So just look at, make it as a kind of possibility. It's not like you have to go out there and don't know, kill a bunch of people to achieve something. It's just you have to be willing to look at something. So thank you very much. I so enjoyed talking about this, and I will see you soon somewhere again. Thank you. Bye bye.